Dude, listen, just stick with this for 2 more weeks, okay? And then we dump it. Dude, we're gonna make a fucking mint, dude. No. Dude, we're gonna be paying rent for months. No, listen to me. What do you mean we haven't met our investment quota? What the fuck does that even mean? Dude, okay. Where the fuck do you think I'm gonna find some people shitty enough to market this crap, dude? Oh, okay, calm down, dude, calm down. Calm down, dude, just... I'll work something out. Just give me till the morning, and I'll try to figure something out, dude. Bye. Okay, calm down. Big body club. Big body. I said, it's just a prank, bruh. But before I could explain myself, he punched me right in the face. I mean, all I did was stab him with an empty syringe on the subway. I thought he'd at least have a sense of humor about it. As he was rocking my my shit, I had this moment of clarity where I realized what am I doing wasting my life doing these pranks and profiting off of them? The entire world thinks I'm a nuisance, and I'm out here counting my money with zero shame. And it was at that moment I knew I had to change. So that's when I walked into that door, right over there. Oh, dude, I'm just fucking with y'all. This is court ordered. Now you see, in times like this, it's important that we ask ourselves, was what we did very cash money of me? Was what you did very cash money of you? No, it wasn't very cash money of me. Now you see, that's the first step. See, we have a saying here: no matter the lows I go to gain popularity, I'll continue to grow. These grifts do not define me. Well, seems like we have a new member this week. Care to tell everyone your name? My name is Chad Bennington.
Hi, Chad.
Well, why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself, Chad. And remember, this is a safe place. The only thing we ask of you is you be completely honest with us. And, you know, whatever we say, just keep it between us. Don't go telling your friends about anything we say here. Yeah, I'll be truthful. And the other thing, first off, I know you probably get this a lot, but coffee here tastes like shit. Tastes like I'm drinking straight lighter fluid. Am I right, guys? Okay. Been in this cycle of poor decisions, usually for my own personal gain or financial benefit, and they're usually impulsive. I can't control myself before I make these decisions. Usually they come to bite me in the ass, but more times than not, I end up hurting someone else, someone completely unaware of my negligence. I recently found myself in a lot of trouble. I often do a lot of ads at the end of my video, typical, YouTube playbook. You gotta pay the rent somehow, And I teamed up with this company, Protein Shock. I was contractually obligated to promote them at the end of one of my videos, and in exchange, they paid me quite substantially. a few days after their launch, they found themselves in a whole heaping lot of legal trouble. Happy Homes, you know, the orphanage just up South Street, burnt to the ground, killing a few employees, injuring a few others. Apparently, one of the kids there had a bottle of protein shock on him. Apparently he wanted a bottle, and one day it decided to malfunction, spontaneously combusted, burning the whole place to the ground. I see images of that broadcast every day. I have nightmares that that whole thing started because one kid saw one of my videos and he wanted a bottle. Well, Chad, I think it's completely silly to blame yourself. I mean, YouTubers do ads all the time. I mean, something like this was completely out of your control. You know, you'd have no idea. Except I did know. I've done clinical studies. They found that 7 out of 10 times, after a certain amount of uses, the bottle exploded. The company wanted more time to develop, but the investors, they got a little impatient. They threatened to pull the plug. So out of desperation, the company decided to launch the product anyway. Now, that information made its way to my management team, and they were ecstatic about the new business opportunity, but they needed my permission. So they went to me, and I still gave them the thumbs up. And now I still have to live with that decision, all to pay a few months' rent. When did these patterns of bad decisions start? Probably started when I got here. I have previously fled my home tab of Planet Fitness. That's a story for another day. I was roaming the streets without a penny to my name, and I couldn't buy a house because I didn't have a job. So around that time, that's when I met this guy. His name was Lord Land. He was this semi-famous business tycoon. I'm pretty sure he's tied to something highly illegal, but I can't prove it just yet. But he offered me that I could stay in one of his apartments as long as I signed this 50-year lease. So I did. Time went on, and my YouTube channel wasn't really picking up. You know, my cooking videos wasn't paying the rent, and I was desperate. And it was around that time I had this idea for a YouTube video, one like I have never done before. I was gonna spend 24 hours inside a Cracker Barrel. Now, obviously, security cameras caught me immediately, and the next day the cops showed up to my house, and I got hit with a $1,000 fine. And right when I thought my last attempt at fame failed me, I checked the news. I couldn't believe my eyes. They were talking about me. And I keep thinking about the feeling that I couldn't describe how it made me feel. It's like this drug. You know, they weren't actually mad at me for obviously breaking and entering. They were mad at me for associating myself with Cracker Barrel. Apparently they were getting canceled at the time. But as soon as that broadcast ended, people flooded to my channel, and I couldn't let up. The people, they wanted more. I wanted more. So I had to keep topping myself. You know, what could I do next? What could I do next, you know? Maybe I could, where else could I break into, you know? Maybe I could do this elaborate prank. If I could fix someone's death. All these ideas came flooded to my head. But as time went on, I started to realize that with this newfound fame that I obtained, I lost myself. I was no longer Chad Bennington. My identity would forever be tied to these big over-the-top pranks and these videos and these desperate clings to fame and the harm that it does. And, you know, I keep asking myself these questions, you know, like, do I do it because I hate myself? Did I not have enough friends growing up and now I'm overcompensating? Or do I do it, do I just not care at all? It's important not to beat yourself up at times like this. What we need to do is we need to ask ourselves, was what we did very cash money of me? Now, was what you did very cash money of you? No? Now you see, that's the first step. You see, we have a saying here. No matter the lows I go to gain popularity, I'll continue to grow. These grifts do not control me. So that's it. That's all you're gonna say? I have to accept what I did as it is and just move on. You know, what makes you the expert in any of this? Huh? You just sit there with your buttoned up shirt, spewing your lines of self-acceptance, but what do you know, what do you actually know about hurting anybody, huh? Have you ever grifted anybody yourself? I faked my own death. You probably heard about this on Beef Watch. I had this vlogging channel. I had an audience of mostly younger viewers like yourself. There was this Macy Day parade, and I got invited onto one of the floats. And I had this idea that I was gonna prank my fans by faking my own murder. I was gonna get up on the float, I was gonna wave, and this guy was gonna sneak up behind me with a shotgun, shoot me in the back of the head, and blood was gonna gush everywhere, everyone was gonna be so shocked, and then I was gonna jump up and surprise everybody, and everyone was gonna laugh. Well, my little stunt didn't go as planned. The kids, they screamed, they cried, and the parents were understandably upset, and I ended up getting banned from that parade and any other event in the future. And that day I promised myself I would never do anything as controversial as that ever again. And I did. But I scarred those children, Chad, and I have to live with that. And I hated myself for so long. But I had to realize that I had to get out of that cycle of guilt and move on, because that was my only way that I was going to be able to grow past that. If you keep allowing yourself to fall into those cycles of guilt, you're only going to find yourself making the same mistakes, Chad. That's it. We just have to accept what I did. Just dance around the room singing Hakuna Matata. Like, we don't have to take any responsibility for the shitty things we do to people. Chad, I understand you're hurting. No, I don't think you know what I'm feeling right now. You ever think that some people are just born like this? Some people are just born shitty enough to take advantage of vulnerable people. I believe everyone's capable of change. You know, I think a lot of people would have done what you did, Chad. I mean, you were in a very vulnerable position, and the algorithm rewarded you for what you did. So, I mean, it's almost as if you're kind of like the victim in all this. Caleb, you know, maybe there's no amount of growth or change that'll ever make up for what I did, for what you did. You know, the only reason why I'm in here in the first place is to sell you crypto. I already got a few numbers on the way in here. I made you my bitch. Took a big old crypto dump on everything you worked for here. Does that make you feel good? Does that make you feel great about yourself? Is that very cash money of me? No. There you go. You ever wonder why every room we've ever been in looks the same?